Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is Pat Foster with Transworld. We're just outside of Orlando, Florida today at Alden Baker's Factory, testing the new 2019 FC 450 Husqvarna. So let's go back to the 2018 450 shootout. The Husqvarna tied for our bike of the year. It was fantastic. Everybody on the staff liked it. Of course, I enjoyed it a lot. It wasn't my favorite. There's a few things that I would have liked to do it a little bit differently. And Husqvarna, as we've seen in recent years, is relentless in their development. A lot of the things that I didn't like about the 18, they'd already addressed on the Rockstar edition that came out a few months later. So for the 2019, Husqvarna took the improvements they had done to the Rockstar edition and took them one step further. The suspension got a little bit firmer, which I like. I think it's a better feel. I'm still having to go in quite a few clicks on the compression, maybe 3 or 4. I'm slowing down the rebound a little bit. It still has a little bit more movement than I would like. I'm also doing a similar adjustment to the shocks. Now the engineers at Husqvarna have told us, listen, we don't have a problem finding power. They've already got probably more power than anyone in the class. They're trying to find the best balance between power and usability. And I think they've done a terrific job. The bike is very rideable, it's smooth, it's got a linear delivery. I think most people would love this bike. It's got a very user-friendly power band. It's got a deep power. It's very tractable, and it's very easy to go fast on. What I like about it is it seems like there's tons of torque. For my style, I would like a little bit more hit down low. There's 2 maps. I like the more aggressive map. It's a little closer to where I'd like to be. We're out here at Alden Baker's track. It's very soft. It's deep, and frankly, I'd like a little more pop to kind of get up on top of the sand. This power with its smoother delivery kind of chugs, and it wants to dig in a little bit more than I'd like. I'd like to get up on top of it. But 90% of the people that are buying bikes, they're going to love the way this power is. It's very easy to go fast on for a long time. Doesn't wear you out. I think the biggest improvement from the 19 to the 2018 is in the handling. And I really appreciate all the effort that Husqvarna put into stiffening up the frame, adding the torsional rigidity that they did. It really made a huge difference. I know a lot of you might think, gosh, you know, do I think I'd feel that much difference in frame flex? You absolutely do. Out here we've got some big sand whoops and rollers, and the 2018 it just had a more compliant frame, which in a lot of cases was nice, but it's just too much wallow. That coupled with the stiffer suspension settings, now the bike just doesn't move as much. It's not as you don't get that waterbed effect where it's just kind of a loose, wallowy. It's much more predictable. There's less movement in the bike. It transfers into more control to the rider. Like I said, less movement, better contact with the track, and it's just much more precise going into corners. I really appreciate their efforts on that. It's a big, big difference. From an ergonomic standpoint, the bike is very comfortable. I love how they've narrowed up the front of the bike. It's much easier to move around on. I love the new radiator shrouds, especially when you get your leg up high in the corners. It kind of lets your leg tuck up out of the way, and it doesn't feel like your leg's sticking out so far. Also, when you're standing up on the bike and you slide back, your knees don't get pried apart nearly as much. But there's great contact with your ankles. It's easy to hold on to the bike. They've got nicer seat foam. It's a little bit more comfortable. They've firmed up the subframe, which I also like. If there's a couple things that I don't like, it's in the controls. I'm not a big fan of the new handlebar. It's low and it feels wide. Frankly, I don't like handguards. I don't like the way they look on the bike when they're sitting there, and I don't like seeing them as I'm riding. Those would be the first things that I'd take off. And this is kind of a strange one, but the grips feel fat. Feels like my hands are pretty wide open. Other than that, this bike is fantastic. I mean, the brakes are great, the clutch is great, the handling is excellent. I think they've made some huge improvements. I basically changed the handlebars and take the handguards off, and this thing's ready to go. So overall, the 2019 is a fantastic bike. I mean, frankly, we love the 2018. It basically tied for winning our shootout. Husqvarna came in and did more development on the Rockstar edition, and then they took it a whole nother level with the 2019. I mean, these guys are relentless with their development. Things just keep getting better and better. Please check it out. Shootout time is going to be very exciting. Thank you guys.